So lately things have been getting a little out of control in our house, and what that signals to me is that somewhere along the way we have accumulated way too much stuff. You want to say hello? Zoe says hi. So as you can see behind me, my house is pretty messy. Half because I have started decluttering and things are awry. But the other half is just because they have gotten too much to handle. So I want to show you what I've started and how I'm like organizing, and we'll see what we can get to. So this is our TV stand that we have had for years, and she's looking rough, but I don't want to get rid of her. If you're curious, I own a theater, and those are our costumes for our upcoming show. But mainly that is what this mess is here. And I will show you what I did with the drawers. So this drawer, I didn't really declutter. It's my general office supplies. It could use some organization because it's getting a bit messy. This one is extra school supplies. That is a hole punch. My art supplies, I did declutter, and I will show you all of the ones that I ended up getting rid of. This one used to be full of stuff, and now it just has our cat stuff and some stuff I'm not sure what to do with. This one is now completely empty. And this is our like sewing. We have like sewing stuff. This is all sewing, yarn. Like this is our craft. So that's something that's a really important concept, is the container concept. Your space is the space that you have. And we don't need to go buy more and more and more bins and buckets and shelves and whatever. We just need to get rid of our stuff. So the less stuff that we have, the more comfortably it fits into our spaces. So in the example of these behind me, these were all full, and that's the whole reason why I started going through all of them, is because this is my storage space. This is my what I have space. And so I could not keep things that I could not comfortably put away. And that is something that literally has changed the game for me when it comes to cleaning, storing, and organizing. This goes in my daughter's room. I had stuff all over here the other day. You couldn't really get into some of these drawers because they were so full. And so last night I sat down and I just started taking things out and getting rid of things we haven't used in a while. I got rid of things like just in case things like, oh, what if I need this for this project? And the truth is, I would not have looked there. Case in point, let me show you something. So if you can see right here, we have an EcoTank printer. And the other day we ran out of ink. And so naturally I went to Amazon and I bought ink. And so last night when I was going through these drawers and cleaning, guess what I found? A half full bottle of ink. So they come in like these little containers like this, and then you like flip them upside down into the printer. So what ended up happening is that I forgot that I even had ink, and I went and I bought a whole new thing of it, used that half of the bottle, so I couldn't return it. So thankfully these come off, and I was just able to like fill the half, like marry the half and half bottles. But this just reiterates my point of chances are I will forget that I have the thing. So keeping items for just in case kind of doesn't do you any good if you don't remember you have the item in the first place. So now my job, I need to find a place that I would go to look for ink or like the next time I ran out. And so that was another problem of, that's how I ended up buying doubles, is because I don't have a spot where I go where I'm like, oh, I'm out of this thing. Where should I go and look and see if we have it? So that is on my task list, is to find a place where I will remember to check for ink before I buy it again next. Another thing that really pains me is when I was going through my supplies. I'm a homeschooling mom, so I'm sure other homeschooling moms can relate. And I also teach co-op and I own a theater business. So I always have in my head, like, this could be useful. Maybe I could use this. So yesterday, the bin I showed you full of my school supplies, my extras, that had been sitting on my floor for like probably 2 months, full of art supplies. And it never got put away because I don't have the space to put the stuff. So I was like, I'll just deal with it later. Well, this is an entire bag full of markers. Just like literally markers, just nothing but markers. This isn't even all the markers I have, because I have some in my classroom too. I have a ton in my classroom. And so composition notebooks, these were just sitting around. I don't need that many. And in my brain, I'm like, but Ashley, what if you need? And the truth is, I will go to the store. If I need, well, first of all, I have 3 extra in my homeschool school supply bin. But if I need a composition notebook, these are 98 cents at Walmart. Like, I can go to the store and buy another notebook. All of this, we have colored pencils and big bottles of glue and crayons, like all of this extra I was holding on for just in case. You need to let it go. And it was painful because honestly, I just bought these. I bought these at the end of July when all of the school supply stuff came out, and so it's like literally money wasted because I thought I was gonna use these for something, and then that ended up not happening, and so I was like, well, I'll just store them, but then they just sat on the floor in my living room. So you gotta let it go. You have to let it go. I'm gonna donate these to an art school that is by us, and I know they will get used there, and if I need them, they will be there. And you saw in my drawer there, I do have some. I have enough. I have everything in here, just one of each of them instead of 10 of each or more. So I challenge you to just let go of the extras. Go through and clear out what you're actually using and not what this fantasy version of you thinks you will use. I have another example. So this primarily all came out of this bottom drawer. So these 2 drawers were one. This one was full of yarn, and then the other one was full of sewing supplies. And I'm a crafter. I love a good craft. I can sew, I crochet, my daughter knits, we make macrame, like we are artsy, creative people. But the truth is, these 2 drawers sat full for years, for months and months and months and months, because I've gone through all of this before, and then they somehow creep up and fill up more. And then we don't actually touch it. We're busy. We're home very few days out of the week to where we could sit down and crochet a blanket or sew or do these things. So you just have to let go and trust that when I need a ball of white yarn, or, you know, like I keep things like this. This is, I use this for a costume that I made for my daughter for a show she was in. I don't know when I will ever need scalloped, lacy lining for, but I'm like, I might, just in case, like, I might need this, you know, like, again, we bought this for a project. I made my daughter's shoes when she was Cinderella. I don't think I will ever need glitter glue again, but I have been keeping it since March, just in case, just in case. So these are things that I feel like you need to let go of. You need to trust that, number one, if you ever need it in the future, you will have the ability to go to the store and buy another $2 bottle of glue or another, you know, $4, you know, skein of yarn. But it doesn't need to be in your house. So I'm gonna make another pass through these drawers and see what else I can find and let go of, because we just ran out of time last night. And so I know there's more I can let go of. Before I get started, I wanted to show you, so this is my garbage bag. This is my extra office supply, school supply thing. If I decide I want to keep something in there and I want to put it in here, because this is full, I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm willing to let go of. And then I have my 2 donation boxes. Those are donatable donation boxes. So I'm not worried about, like, I'm just gonna take it and drop it off. I don't have to worry about like emptying one of these, or it's like a good quality. No, those are just gonna go from my life. And another thing, I know that there are some people out there that suggest that when you're putting something away, you take it to its home and you find a spot for it. Like, I'm not that type of cleaner, declutterer. I can't be, because I have ADHD and I get distracted super easy. So, like, for example, this is a homeschool thing. I need to take it to the homeschool shelf. But if that shelf is messy and there's not room, or like, it's good enough. If it gets near the shelf, by the shelf, in the room that the shelf is in, then I will deal with it later. But I just take things to their general room, the general place where they go. And I figure that is a future me problem, because if I have to take the time to clean and nicely put away things while I'm trying to take care of something like this, then it is never going to happen. And the long-term goal, the overall goal, is to get your house to a place to where, like, this has a specific spot on the shelf. So going and putting it on the shelf is easy peasy. But right now that shelf is messy. Right now that shelf needs organization. And if I have to organize and clean that shelf before I put this away, it's just not going to happen. So I am in the camp of it's good enough. If it gets to the general area, the general room, the general shelf, even if it's not put away, like, I just open the door and I just throw it in there. I will deal with that later. But I've built enough trust in myself to know that I will eventually deal with it. That it's not, I'm just not moving, delaying decision-making or moving problems from one area. Like, I will handle it. Just right now, I'm not. I'm doing something else. So anyway, let's get into these drawers. Okay, so I went through the drawers and I got rid of some stuff. So let's talk through my process. So this is what we ended up with. This still looks the same. So I want to take a second to really encourage you to use what you have. The decluttering process reveals a lot about you, especially if your whole life you have considered yourself to be messy. You may not be the person that you think you are. So I have two ways to prove my point here. So I showed you the inside of this drawer, and as you can see, like, I have little cups in my drawers, right? I have little cups that divide different things to keep everything, instead of just throwing it all in there or throwing it all in one big bin. Now, if you had asked me 2 or 3 years ago if I was a organized by cup type of person, I would have told you no, because things were so out of control in my house, in my home, that I couldn't even fathom the idea of like taking the time to nicely organize or arrange something. And number one. Number two, some people just aren't like that. Some people really are okay with a big bin and they throw it all in there, and that's good enough for them and it doesn't bother them. Other people might want to take it even a step further and organize even more categorically. So this leads me to my next point, which is, in the beginning, do not go and spend your money on bins and organizers and things to organize stuff if you've not yet got to know yourself. I am literally the queen of use what you have. This was an old Red Bull flat. Seriously, it took me like 20 minutes. I cut it, hot glued it, and taped it, and this has been in this drawer for longer than I care to admit. This holds my computer paper. We got it from Costco. It had strawberry, you know, like when you leave Costco, you carry the boxes. Again, I cut it, I glued it, I taped it, and it's been in my drawer. If you notice in the video, I have cardboard dividers. This is yet again another cardboard. It's actually the other half of that box. And so I was just trying things out. I was trying to figure out how I organize and what I like and what works for us. And you don't have to spend money on things. Use what you have. Diaper boxes, Costco boxes, cereal boxes, whatever you have, just some duct tape and hot glue will take you so far. The third thing, I don't know where I'm at, is the more you declutter, the more you get to know yourself. Let me adjust you down. Oh, I can't. The more you declutter, the more you get to know yourself. And I never, ever, ever thought I would be the type of person who likes my cords wrapped and secured. And on the theme of using what you have, this is a hair clip. Like, I started doing this with my headphones. I have like a smaller clip for my headphones, and because I don't always work from home, I carry my laptop and headphones with me, and I hated that they would get tangled. So I had a tiny hair clip and I clipped it one day. And then I was like, oh, I really like that. I was just cleaning. I was like, man, this crazy cord is annoying me. So I went and I grabbed a hair clip. Also, this big claw clip, I use on my laptop cord. Because again, I often work outside of home. And so the cord being in my bag all like loosey-goosey and crazy was bothering me. So this was a big claw clip that I have that I now clip onto my Mac charger and pop it in my bag. And those are things that I would not have known about myself, because I've struggled my whole life to stay clean, to stay tidy, to organize things, to figure out who I am, because I feel like when you spend so much of your time just in survival mode and like just trying to make it presentable, just trying to get through the day. You have so many choices to make and you're just fatigued and overwhelmed, and your stuff, you literally feel like you're drowning in stuff. You can't think about, how do I like my cords organized? Like, it's just not possible to know that about yourself. So I suggest that as you go through this, you take time to get to know yourself. You take time to figure out what feels good. What do you like? How do you like your things organized? When you have less stuff and you're less overwhelmed, you're able to think about those types of things and like what type of person you are and what type of organization you like. So I've gone through all of these and now I have some choices to make. Let me show you where we ended up and how I'm working through those choices. So this is everything that I pulled out of that top drawer. These are a bunch of pens that, quite honestly, I don't like how they write, which is why they're still in there, because I also have another drawer. So I think the next video I'm going to make is a video on clutter avalanches, and I have hit a bit of a jam with my pens, my school supplies, office supplies. So look for another video on how I'm handling all the pens, but let me walk you through the other stuff that I decluttered. So these, they don't go there. These I have decided, I bought them thinking I needed them for something, and I ended up only using a few, so I'm just gonna donate these. These are gonna go straight into donation. Same thing with these index cards. I don't actually have a use for them, so I'm gonna send them to the art school that I was talking about earlier. This is a notebook that I love, however, I don't use it. There are a few notes in the front, which I will reference to see if I need anything, and then donate it. This is a storage container, which has more office supplies that contribute to my clutter avalanche. I'm gonna keep the storage container. I'm probably gonna get rid of the scrunchie. So over here, I use these. I ship stuff on Facebook, and these are envelopes, so I need those. So I'm going to put those back in the drawer. And these are two empty. I'm out of computer paper, which this holds. And this was holding some video game stuff that I simplified. And this is a hole punch that I bought for like 60 bucks. And it pains me to get rid of it, but I actually don't really like it, and it's not actually the kind that I wanted. I wanted one that had the like spiral holes, and that has like the rectangular holes. I don't know. I just don't like it very much. And so I feel like that is a lesson in buying, you know, had I saved the money and bought the one that I really wanted, I would probably use it more often. And instead, I bought that one because it was cheaper and I didn't want to wait, and I used it and it's fine, but I don't really like it. So I'm going to try to resell that on Facebook Marketplace again. And after a couple of weeks, if it doesn't sell, I'll just donate it. And I'm doing that because I have the bandwidth to do it. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just need to throw stuff away or take it to Goodwill. And I have done that so many times. We've decluttered so much stuff, like literal trunkfuls of stuff just taken to Goodwill or thrown in the garbage, which makes me feel incredibly wasteful, but I just had to get it out. And so now that I have less stuff and my house is less overwhelming, I do have the space or the bandwidth to put that in a place, list it, manage it for however long, and then if it doesn't sell, I gave it a go, and you know, it's fine to let it go. And right here I have a little sticky note to remind myself. There's a few cords in our gaming box right there that are identical, and I don't know what they do. And so back to getting to know what type of person I am and decluttering, I have a label maker and I want to label the cord or cords. So I know what they are because we also have a huge box of random cords that I need Brittany to go through with me. So that is just to remind me when she gets home to ask her about the cords, if they're the same and if they do the same thing. Do we need both of them? If the answer is no, we'll get rid of one and then I'll label the other. So next time I'm in there and I'm cleaning, I know what is what. So I hope this video was a little bit helpful to kind of see how I've like walked through my drawer process. And like I said, I'm going to make another video about the clutter avalanche, the clutter traffic jam I'm at right now with my school supplies, my pens and stuff. But that would just make this one way too long. So if you found anything helpful, leave me a comment below and let me know. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.